All right, so in the United States, the management of the coronavirus outbreak has been dogged by delays to testing and a president who has played down the risks. We speak to our reporter there. Now, Kate, let's talk about the situation in the U.S. We've seen various tweets that have raised the ire of some and even brought about amusement by President Donald Trump, where at first he talks about beautiful tests and he also extols his own virtues of his knowledge of the disease.
That's right. This whole situation here in the United States so far has seen President Trump kind of contradict many of his key advisors on this point. He's been standing next to these scientists, these medical professionals. As they say one thing, he says the other. So, for example, he said that there were tests available for anybody that needed it, and that is not the case. There were huge delays to producing a test because of an issue with the production of that. So there has been a delay for it being made, and now there are not yet enough for everybody that needs one. I think their Vice President Mike Pence announced this morning that there are now 1 million test kits available, but clearly there are many more people than that who need a test here in the United States. Also, when it comes to the numbers of people who have been infected by this, Donald Trump was suggesting at the beginning that there was nobody infected, when of course there are many people. There are 700 cases now here in the United States and 26 people have died. But of course that number of cases is likely to increase once these test kits have been distributed throughout the US and once they make more of them. So yeah, there is a disconnect between what the president has been saying and what his advisors have been saying. And that has made it very difficult for the public to know where they stand, what they should be doing, and to feel reassured. And it's also been difficult for the markets like reassurance as well. And there has been chaos on the financial markets while there's this kind of disconnect at the top of the Trump administration.
Kate, as you say, there has been a sell-off on the markets, but we've also seen from reports that there also seems to be a running out of masks at hospital and there's an influx of patients. Just what is the general sense from Americans about how serious, especially in terms of how the Americas itself have been hit?
Well, I can tell you what it's like here in Washington, and I just popped out to buy some lunch earlier, and just about everybody I heard talking was talking about this, and it was a lot of uncertainty. It's a crazy situation. We don't know what's going on. Just from my own personal situation, one of the cases that has been confirmed here in Washington is at a church in the community where I live, and my children go to a school just down the street. The school emailed us and said, you know, it's been discovered just down the street. If it gets any closer, essentially, we'll be shutting the school for 2 weeks. So it's a kind of on a precipice that we feel like we can see what's happening in Italy and other countries where the disease is a little more advanced, and you can feel that people here are looking at that and wondering if and when those kind of measures are going to come to the United States. And it's made all the more uncertain because of the fact that the president hasn't, certainly until this point, really seen to grasp this as a major problem. He's, for example, quoted how many people die from influenza every year, saying that there are many more people that die from that, and yet these kind of measures haven't been in place, which kind of goes against the medical advice from these professionals who are talking about how different this is from influenza. So there have been, I think, a lot of the issues here are the fact that no one's quite sure who's in charge and if indeed there is a plan in place.
All right, Kate, we're going to leave it there. Kate Fisher is SABC correspondent out there in Washington. We're going to take you back now to OR Tambo International Airport.